Well, thanks all for joining me. Today we're going to be making this delicious venison meatball stew. Do that in the Firebox 5-way Dutch oven. But first we're going to make some Guinness bread. Now bread is pretty simple. Flour, water, yeast, salt. What we're going to do is flour, Guinness, yeast and salt. That's all. Just going to replace the water with this Guinness. What we're going to do, pour the Guinness in the bowl, put the yeast in. Just going to have it around the fire just to warm through, activate that yeast, then we'll get that bread on the go. Now my recipe calls for 480 mils of water. Obviously I'm replacing that with this Guinness. This is a 500 ml bottle, so that'll do. We'll just use it all. It also called for 7 grams of yeast, but we're going to go for 14 just to see what happens. Just use that there to give that a stir. Get that yeast in there. Just get a bit of this cling film over here just to trap in some of that heat that we're going for. Just let that warm up a little bit. Okay, it's time to get the bread on the go. I'll just pour most of that in, to be honest. Get this Firebox ladle here, just give that a mix around. It's actually quite a nice consistency, I think. Not bad. It seemed to work. So obviously this is going to be easier if I was working inside on a larger surface. I'm just doing this out here. I like to knead my bread, just push it out like that, bring it back, push it out, bring it back. It'll get a bit more elastic here as we go along. So basically what I have is 750 grams of flour here, 600 grams of white flour and 150 grams of wholemeal. We've then got that 500 ml of Guinness in there, along with 14 grams of yeast. Right, we very nearly forgot the salt. Now if a recipe calls for 10 grams, I usually put 15 and I always go a bit more. We're just kind of playing this one by the eye now. See how we go. We've got some in there before we forget. One thing I like to do, just get a bit of oil in the chamber there and then just wipe it around everywhere. Just on the sides, everything like that. Okay, we'll get that bread in there, push it down. I've taken a bit off. I'm going to keep that, I think, for some pizza. This should be enough in here now. It's going to rise a bit anyway. So let's get this proved. What we'll do, we'll get our Firebox stove knife and we'll just do some little cuts in there. A little bit of flour on the top there, and then we'll get the lid on that, let that prove, and I'll go and put that other bit away in the fridge overnight, and I'll do some pizza tomorrow with that. That's going to be great. While the bread's proving there, I'm just going to do myself some meatballs. I've got my old griddle there. That's from a long time back. Seen better days, that's for sure. Just make the most of that flame as well. I just want to browse off my meatballs. Nothing more than that. Okay, we'll actually change the head of this one. We'll go for the this here. Just get underneath them and turn them. There very good. This is nearly done now. Really nice smell coming from this. Okay, let's have a look and see if we've got a rise. My concern really is how much more that's going to rise. It's probably going to push into the lid, but that's okay. I'll accept that. I went a bit overboard on the yeast. Okay, what we're going to do is just rake some of these coals out here. Just to about there, actually, I think. Put a couple of bigger bits on the side. And we'll just put this on top. And get some coals on the top there. And I'm okay, just rake some up there. Now, what I've got to bear in mind, there's quite an intense heat coming from the side. So I'm going to turn this Dutch oven around every few minutes or so. I might even move it out again, we'll see. And also what I want to do, we want to keep these coals coming. Let's put another bit of wood on, but that should be pretty good. So while the bread's cooking, that's a nice knife. While the bread's cooking, I like that thickness of that blade actually. While the bread's cooking, we're going to just get some of the stuff ready for the stew. I've got potatoes and things. I don't want to do them just yet, otherwise they'll discolour. But I can certainly cut these carrots and the pepper. I also have some wild chanterelles to go in the stew. I've done them before in a stew. They come out really, really nice. Really nice. So we'll just get all prepped up here. Okay, so I found the coals that I had to be quite small, and I had the oven on top there, and I was a bit worried about not getting enough bottom heat, so I've shifted the fire across and I've moved the oven in here. Nice and easy that was. We've got the radiant heat of the rocks, but I think as well this is going to be a lot warmer on the bottom. We've got the top going on. I think it's okay. I'm not smelling any burning just yet, but we'll see how we go. Okay, what we'll do, I think we'll move this out now, nice and easy with these two lifters. Just shift that fire back there. Just going to keep a couple of these coals here for one last little cook on the bottom of that bread. But, well, good. Let's have a look at it as well. Okay, let's just have a look at our bread. Yeah, that's actually good. It's not burnt. Well, it's just starting to catch there, isn't it? I think we might call that done. I'm just going to give it a couple of minutes on that bottom just to get that one last little bit of heat from there. But otherwise I'm quite happy with that. Just get those coals off now, I think. In fact, I'll just leave that off. No, I'll just put that lid back on. Just give that a couple of minutes. Wow. Well, you never quite know when you cook with the cast iron, but that is as good a loaf of bread as I have ever made. I mean, that is good. Pretty crusty. We'll see what it's like inside a little bit later. Give it 5 minutes just to cool down. Perfect. Okay, let's just cut into that. Wow, look at that. That looks so good. So this is the Guinness bread. We do have Guinness, salt, flour, plenty of yeast. You should smell this actually, it's really beery and yeasty, it's very, very nice smelling. I love freshly baked bread. It worked. That's the stressful part of the cook done, by the way. You know, that's easy to get the bread wrong. The stew's almost impossible. I'm going to put the Dutch oven on top of the griddle, stew my venison meatballs and everything that's going to go with it. Easy. Enjoy the bread, and we'll have a bit of this with supper later on. The oven. Get the carrots and peppers that we did before. We'll get our meatballs in. Get our chanterelles in as well. That's the wild mushroom. Okay, get some of the potatoes in as well. So we've got peppers, carrots, potatoes, chanterelles and meatballs, that's right. See what else we got. These are haricot beans. Just put them in there. This is going to be a nice full Dutch oven worth of stew. A little bit of tomato passata. Just get that in there, just a little bit of body and flavour. That will do. Well, that's full to the brim, but it's ticking over very nicely. We'll just put some salt in there now, give it some seasoning. So we've also got some Hakata spice. So this is actually a hollow chamber. Take this top bit off here. My spice is in there. Never had it before. There we go. There, it's coming out now. So we'll give it a little bit, see how we go with it. So I put a good amount in there, but we're going to take this one off now. And we're going to get a ladle on here, which is going to come in super handy for this style of cooking. It's so thick, full of food, but it will all break down. The liquid will reduce. Yep, that's looking really good though. Look at that. It's just been ticking away for 10 minutes. So we're going to give that, I reckon, an hour. I think that's what I'm aiming for. I could put the lid back on, but I think that's going to be just fine. Well, that's reduced a bit. Fire's dwindling down. We'll just put the lid on, and that'll be that. Okay, a nice piece of bread. Listen to that crust as we cut through it there. Nice. Time for a bit of stew. Okay, it's got quite dark actually, so I just use my mobile phone here just to get a bit of light for you. It's only 7 o'clock in the evening, it gets dark at 10. It's just very, very grey clouds at the moment. Look at this. That's nice. Piping hot too. Get another couple of meatballs in there. That's what it's all about. There we go. Oh, that's nice. Very nice. Oh, nice meatball there. Well, this is what I've been waiting for. Dipping the bread in the stew there. Our venison meatball stew with Guinness bread. Well, I don't know if you can hear that on the tarp, but it's actually raining, that's why it was so grey. Whew. This is a big old canvas tarp, this one, so nice and protected in here. Thoroughly enjoying it. That spice is really nice too, that Hakata. It's added a nice little bit of warmth in there, I think, as well. Chanterelles come out really nice as well. Anyway, look, thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate it. We'll see you again. Cheers.